Special thank you to Seed and Stone Cidery and Lucky Buzz Meadery for sponsoring the show today. They help to make this show possible and supply us with the occasional beverage when we're out there. They've got 10 taps full of meads and ciders made right there in-house. They've also got all sorts of awesome events going on, including an open mic almost every single Thursday where you can come out and show your musical talent. So all you songwriters out there, stop out and grab a cider or a mead and tell them that the Songwriters Couch and the Patrick Joanne Band sent you. Again, Seed and Stone Cidery right here in Rochester, New York. Go out and visit them and let them know we sent you. Thanks, guys. All right, welcome to episode number 23 of the Songwriters Couch. And on today's show, we have a very special guest. One, Mr. Adam Lynch. Adam, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it. I know this is the second take here of our introduction of you, but we had some technical issues in the beginning, but those are all solved. And if we can cut back to this camera here quick, Ali. So I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Seed and Stone Cidery, for helping to keep the show alive by sponsoring us. And we are not drinking cider today, and that is because we got into the cognac early, right before the show, and so we're doing that. But fear not, cider lovers and Seed and Stone, I do have the fridge stocked with some cider. So before we move any forward, if you're watching this, go down, subscribe, like, do whatever people do when they subscribe to things or like things, and spread the word about the show. If you know a songwriter or a musician or someone you'd like to have on the show, please let us know. Send us an email, message us. What else? Snapchat, TikTok us. Carrier pigeon, smoke signals, all that kind of stuff. Just let us know. Thank you, everyone, for listening for up to this episode number 23. And we'll cut back now with the superb camera angle cutting capabilities. Whoa, there's a lot of alliteration. To Adam. Thank you for being on the show, brother. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
That long-winded
Glad to be here.
introduction.
Yeah, no, that was perfect.
The man.
Wouldn't take a word out.
The myth. The legend, Adam Lynch. So why don't we start out by having you kind of talk about where people can find you? I know this is going to be not our typical self-promotional thing, but we're going to cut to that camera there and tell them where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, well, it's not typical because we don't have anything yet. So this will be the song that I perform at the end of this will be the first official recording of any of our songs. We don't have any social media yet. Everything's on the way, moving very slowly. So stay tuned. Don't know when. But there will be stuff in the future.
So what he's saying, basically, everybody, is that you're here witnessing history
right.
Being made right in front of your eyes.
Right.
The first performance ever of the legendary band
Adam Lynch.
Adam Lynch. That's right. So again, thanks for coming on the show, man. I know we had a little bit of a hiccup with some scheduling the last time too, but I'm glad we finally made it happen.
Yeah.
And I think the way that we met, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I do get around, Adam, quite a bit. I'm all over the place. But I believe we met at the Seed and Stone open mic, as a matter of fact. And you and your cohort, I forget the
Connor
were performing, and you kind of amazed me. And so I said, you should come on the show and show everyone that's watching or listens to us your stuff. So
yeah, met you there officially at Seed and Stone. I saw you and Ali perform at Love and Cup prior to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't remember that. It was
shortly. It was probably like a month before that Seed and Stone open mic.
Huh?
And me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. You killed it.
It was that long ago, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did we do? What song did we do? We did...
Oh, man.
July, maybe? Or was it something else?
Did your
Oh yeah, it was one of my originals that has yet to be released too.
Oh,
A song called
wow.
"Runnin'." So it's got a female part to it. It's kind of like it's about a time we went to New York City, but it's like got a male part. It's like they're kind of singing back and forth to each other in like a love song. So we did that, but we gotta put that down too. I've got to get that on.
No, it was great. You guys had
Record
the
somewhere.
energy. The
Yeah.
energy was there.
Oh, thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm blushing a little bit now.
Good.
On it.
It's the cognac.
How's the cognac? Yeah, is the
It's
cognac
great.
delicious? Yeah, it's
beautiful.
Cavassier. So if Cavassier wants to sponsor us too, I'm sure Scene and Stone won't have a problem with that. But yeah, we'll work on it because I do like some cognac.
It's
every
good.
once in a while. You know what the difference between cognac, for all those people watching that don't know the difference between a cognac and a whiskey?
I don't.
There's not much, except for cognac is typically made from grapes. So they'll distill grapes, and it's got to come from, I believe it's the Cognac region of France, and it's got to be made there. And they basically do the same thing that they do to whiskey. So they'll take grapes, they'll distill it, they'll get like this clear alcohol, and then they'll age it in French oak barrels, and that's the only difference. But the reason it's so smooth, I think it's because it's made from grapes instead of like wheat. I don't know,
love
but
that.
it's
I can taste it.
it's ridiculous
It's
how
good
good
stuff.
it is, right?
Yeah.
I could drink a whole liter of that.
Those are some smooth grapes.
It is. So as per our recent shtick that we do to break the ice. I got this from working in corporate America, but like a way to break the ice with guests. Even though probably it's not necessary because we're also drinking cognac. Although
That's an icebreaker.
yeah, although you could do that at work, it's probably frowned upon. But
I imagine by the end of this, you guys will have your shirts off.
yeah, that's what's going to happen.
I hope so.
T-shirt gun. I'll get the T-shirt gun out and we'll shoot it.
Oh.
But we're going to do the 2 truths and a lie.
Okay.
Adam, 2 truths and a lie. I feel like we need theme music. Let's see what we have. No?
No, that's perfect.
It's colored. Too much.
Oh, yeah, it's also out of tune.
I thought
too.
that was great. It's a little
Yeah,
out
it
of
was,
tune,
it
but
was a little out, but
could
I think
use
it was
it
the
for that.
perfect theme song. I'll write a
It
theme.
is.
How about this? I'll write a theme song.
we
And
can
then
write
next,
themes.
yeah, next. Oh, collabs in motion, live collaboration here going.
Call it 2 truths and a lie, baby.
All right, so let's start the I guess you can call it game. So 2 truths and a lie. Lay it down for us, Adam. What do you got for us?
These are about me.
They're going to be about you, yeah. Or it can be I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're going to try to
yeah.
guess between.
I'm a +1 handicap in golf.
Mm.
I've had a song play on the radio. I've been to Germany for the World Cup.
So +1 handicap golf. I could see you being a golfer. Hide the label on there. So golf. Song on the radio. Played live or a recorded song of some
Recorded.
sort.
I'm going number 2.
And the third, that's something you don't need to share with everybody, but okay. So, and the third one was Germany. What was that?
Germany for the World Cup.
For the World Cup. And you came back. Do you have any broken arms, legs?
No, I didn't necessarily say that I played in the World Cup.
Right. But I mean, in the audience,
That's true.
in the stadiums,
It is
it can get-
possible to break some
Yeah, it can get
bones.
rowdy
Yeah,
over
it
there.
can.
They do like their football
They do. Yes.
over there. I'm going to go. So you said 2.
What was number 2? I don't even remember.
There was the radio.
Okay.
The radio.
I'm never on. This time
I'm going to go against it. I'm going to go against her
I'd like
and say that she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm going to go with the World Cup because I don't see a missing eye or an ear or a toe. So let's get a reveal drum roll.
You're both wrong.
Oh,
we both are.
yikes!
I'm a +18 handicap in golf.
Oh, I don't know what that is. That
I only guessed
is that
31%.
better than a +1?
Yeah, so +1 handicap is really good.
Oh, okay.
Scratch
Oh, wait,
golfers
see-
are shooting par. That's like 1 above par, and I'm 18 above par.
I feel like if we played golf more and we knew that, I might have said, I might have questioned that a little bit.
Yeah.
I only went number 2 because he said he hadn't.
And we can get into that later.
Uh-huh.
I used to be in a band back in the day.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But we had a song on the radio. So I think it was 95.1.
Okay. Yeah.
They play, I don't know if they still do it, but this was back in 2015. And they do a segment Sunday nights where they play local.
Are you talking about the
artists.
Sunday night shakedown?
I don't remember.
Huh.
I don't remember what it is. And
I
I'm
forget.
pretty sure it's 95.1.
Yeah, I forget what station it was on.
But you can just
back in the day.
send
Were
them.
you on the show, or you just had
No, they
them
just
actually play
they
the
just played
song?
the song.
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool. Huh. Yeah, I think there was a couple of people. Actually, Woody, who I think is on the radio again now, used to run a show called the Sunday Night Shakedown. There's a bunch of local music.
It
and
could have
stuff
been
here.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very possible. Oh, that's awesome. What was the name of the band? Do you want to say,
It-
or did you
well, we
have a
had
falling
two-
out with them where you want to?
No,
bury the
nothing
band
like that. No, it was great. It was one of the best best times of my life. It was 2013 that it formed. We recorded the album in 2015. Our first name was the Stick Figures, and
Why the stick figures? Was it just
just one of those things.
Cool
Trying
name.
to come up with a band name is
Yeah.
almost impossible,
Yep.
and then you eventually just settle on one
yeah?
over a list of like 100, and that was what we settled on. And there happened to be a band that's actually pretty popular nowadays called Stick Figure. They're like a reggae band, like a SoCal reggae band. So we just changed our name because of that, and we changed it to Glenn.
Oh, is that an abbreviation, or was that
It's not. It's another one of those list of 100.
Yeah.
Let's settle on something.
It's actually
before we rip our hair out.
that's kind of a cool name, like just the first name. I should change the name of the band to Phil, or no?
Well, we got Phil Collins. I don't know.
Yeah. What?
Just add
Bert.
J above.
Ooh, I like Bert. That's
Just
good.
Bert.
Yeah,
You know.
that's like a jam band. That could
It's very-
definitely be a jam
Yeah, it's very indie. Yeah, yeah. It could like lots of sweet
yeah.
picking
Yep.
and all sorts
Yeah.
of
all that good stuff.
DeLorean
Sure.
scales and shit. Isn't that what it's called? What is the scale called?
Mixolydian.
Yeah, all that kind of crazy shit. All
That's
right,
a
so
good band name, actually.
but so what got you into music in the first place, Adam? Like, how did you end up?
I'd say my dad was probably the reason. And he played piano. I'm the youngest of 4 boys, so I had 3 older brothers. And my dad was a pretty good piano player. We had a piano in the house. He would play it all the time, and I can play by ear, so I can listen and watch.
Can you read music at all?
I can. Now I can. Back then I couldn't. I was like 6 years old. And I would just sit down next to him, and he'd play Joplin, Beethoven,
Huh.
Mozart.
So he's a classical pianist?
Yep.
Did he play anywhere like out?
No,
Ever?
he learned. No. It was a hobby for him. He just loves piano, and he learned in college. One of his friends just taught him a couple things, and he just went with it as a hobby. And we had a piano in the house.
I'm always so interested in like how people. Maybe we'll have your dad on the show at some point to talk to him about how he got it. But it's always so interesting to like learn about how people kind of fell into music. 'Cause it's always like it always seems like it's passed along, like it's like a joy that you really want to share with with people. And as soon as you see like I do that with like younger people or even my kids, if they have like an interest in music, I get excited because they're excited about it.
I agree. Yeah.
And it like passes along, and I find like it's almost like you're born with it, not like Maybelline, but you're born with it.
You're born with a desire.
Like the desire to play music. Like there's something inside of you that says you have to do this now. Once you kind of discover it,
And anything can get you into it.
yeah.
It's just
What did he teach you anything on the piano or anything like back in the day, or was it?
well, so I mean, when I first started sitting down with him, and like he would play like Scotch, like The Entertainer, for example, and I would play it because I would watch him and I can hear it, and for whatever reason, I can just do that. So they signed me up for piano lessons, and I did that for 1 or 2 years and just didn't like it because of the structure.
Yeah.
So I stopped.
Do you
but-
feel like you learned anything during it, though?
Yes. Yeah, because I had she was actually a teacher here in Greece. And we just went to her house, and she was very strict, like classically trained, wanted all her students to be that way. And, learned the scales, learned the most basic music theory that she could teach a 6-year-old kid. And
sometimes I feel like when people go through like a schooling, like music, formal music training, sometimes it can be like they don't actually people don't retain stuff during it. Like I'll meet people and they're like, oh yeah, I took, trumpet, or I took piano, or I took whatever, back in school for years or whatever. And they have no memory of anything about it. Even musicians, where they'll pick up an instrument like later in life, they don't remember the formal training because they were so bored with it or whatever it was. Like they couldn't retain anything.
Or frustrated.
Yeah.
Or frustrated.
Yeah, but you feel like you retained at least a little bit out of the.
Well, yeah, and it's because I continued to play. Like I stopped the lessons, but I continued to play with my dad. And it, piano didn't really pick up until later in my life. It kind of sloped off. I was an athlete, so I played sports, played hockey, soccer, golf. And that was most of my childhood. But piano was always there in the background. Kind of going back to that, what we were just talking about, I played clarinet in school band.
Yeah.
I retained zero. I retained zero of that.
That's what my daughter played. But then she took up the bass clarinet, I think it is. Like the giant
sick.
one.
Yeah.
And that she really seemed to
cool.
like. But so what then brought you though from piano, doing kind of like classically trained stuff? I mean, did you give it up and just say, fuck it for a while? And then come back into music somehow? Like I feel like teenagehood.
Right.
Especially like young guys.
So that was guitar
girls.
for me.
Yeah.
So when Guitar Hero came out, me and my best friend at the time were obsessed with Guitar Hero. And because of that, got my first guitar, BC Rich, all black Warlock body.
Oh, wow.
We were
full metal.
Yeah, we were really into Metallica. So yeah, Guitar Center Guitar Hero and Guitar Center, because I got it there, was the reason that I started playing guitar. First song I learned was Stay Together for the Kids, Blink-182.
Huh.
And then I think after that was One by Metallica.
Yeah.
But yeah, then from there it was just guitar. And I played piano here and there. So I never let it go.
Was the thought to be a lead guitar player, or were you thinking, I want to write songs, I want to...
No, not at that time. At that time, it was just pure obsession and passion. I didn't have any plans for the future with music. I was still heavily involved in sports, and that was like my main thing. And guitar was just something that I loved to do.
Do you play guitar? You play guitar, I'm guessing, by ear too.
Oh yeah.
Which is
so. I mean, when we started, we do 911 tabs. Tab. Yeah. And we learned everything that way. But yeah, theory is a little different.
Yeah.
When looking at like piano theory compared to like guitar theory, it's not too much different, but it's a whole different structure. So
yeah, and even so it's funny is my daughter wrote a song a couple of days ago on guitar, and I'm starting to teach myself a little bit of piano. I'm not a great piano player or keyboard player by any means, and my keyboard player will tell you that over and over and over again that I shouldn't be on the keyboard. But so she wrote something on the guitar, and then I kind of transposed it to the keys.
Oh, cool.
And said, here's the chord, because it's just basic, all the open chords. And so she's been sitting on the piano here for a couple of days, but I showed her. It was very straightforward. I don't know why the guitar is set up in the way that it's set up, but it's the least intuitive setup for, I mean, it kind of is because it does the piano thing down the strings. But the reasoning, I should look into that. Why the strings.
Like standard tuning.
Yeah, like why
standard tuning.
Why is that the case?
Why does it make up the positioning?
Yeah. I'd be interested in like the history of that. But she picked up the piano and like, she wrote a bridge without me interjecting anything that works with, what she did, and I just taught her triads basically, and then use the bass note. And she wrote a whole bridge with like chord changes and all this stuff. And
How
it's
old
her
is she?
second day playing the piano.
Good for her,
14.
man.
She'll probably want to come down and play it for you later too.
Sweet, I'll hear it.
So yeah, but yeah. So the jump to a Warlock guitar from a piano. What? So when did you start a band at that time when you picked up the guitar?
Actually,
or was
yes. I actually forgot about that for a second. It was me and my best friend that we started with Guitar Hero, playing two guitars, like rhythm lead kind of thing, alternating, and then we had another friend who played drums. So it was like a 3-piece little thing, and we played a show. I mean, we were 7th grade.
Yeah.
We played a show at the drummer's dad's like July 4th party in their garage.
That's awesome.
And we just did like Metallica songs.
Huh.
And I remember someone told us to stop playing. And then the drummer's dad was like, "You can fuck off."
Right.
And so we kept playing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's always so. That's another thing that like I found people can really kill your desire to keep going, or they can encourage it. The fact that they even asked you to play at their party, that's a big step. And I'm sure you guys were all like, "Oh, we got to practice for this gig. We've had our first gig, blah, blah, blah,"
Right.
And it's like, no, it's all parents. So they're all going to clap for you anyway, regardless, except for that one asshole, apparently, that told you to stop playing. But
yeah, she was hammered, I think.
All right.
Looking back at it now, she was probably completely hammered.
Could be. I get those still at my shows nowadays. You have some woman just completely hammered. Shut up there. Yeah. I want to listen to the jukebox and Kesha or whatever the hell people listen to. Yeah. But it's great that there are people out there that'll support that kind of thing. Because we had a similar. It didn't work out well for the party, but we had played a Sweet 16 party. And we were a 3-piece back in the day. We used to practice in this space in Queens. My drummer, his older brother worked for like the Democratic Party, something or other, and they had this like space where they would gather, like a meeting hall or whatever. And they said, "Oh, well, you can practice in the basement if you want, and use that as your practice space," because his brother worked there or something. But the basement wasn't. Not only was it not finished, the floor was dirt. Right? But not only dirt, it was like wet, muddy dirt, right? So we had everything on like milk crates down there, right? But here's the problem with it. So when you have wet and you have electricity, there's a high likelihood that something's going to go wrong, right? So I used to play bass and I would sing. Oh. So I had the microphone, I had my bass, and then I had a guitar player, and this guy Mike Russo, look him up too, great musician, and this guy Steve Massetti on drums. But every time, so I'd be playing, every time I would get a little too close to the microphone, it would arc, and I'd get electrocuted. So as I'm playing, literally getting electrocuted every time. So that was our practice space, and then we ended up playing the Sweet 16. But I don't know, how old, you mind me asking how old you are?
30.
30. So you weren't... probably where you were a baby back then, probably, but like Nirvana and all those bands started coming out, kind of like the fuck the system, I'm not going to play by your rules, that kind of thing was big back then. So that was the kind of music we were playing, and so the like attitude of it. Yeah, it was like fuck this Sweet 16 party, right? And we ended up playing it, and it wasn't the vibe I think they were looking for their Sweet 16.
Was this original?
It was all original material too. We had written, but it was kind of dark material that wasn't right for a Sweet 16. But they gave us an opportunity, and that kind of and the like being, the reason I bring that up is because like being on stage there, even though I could see it in the audience's face, everyone that was out there was like, "What the hell is going on up there right now?" It lit a spark in me. Like, that's what I want to do all the time. I want to like have that feeling all the time, even though it wasn't.
How old were you then?
Oh, it must have been maybe 16 or 15, something around that
nice
age time.
So it gave you a little spark.
Yeah. So that lady telling you to be quiet didn't squash your dreams, though, right? So you continued, obviously, because now you're sitting on this this couch with me playing guitar. So
Yeah. No, that we kept playing too, so like it didn't even affect us.
Is that the band that ended up getting on the radio? I'm guessing no.
Oh
there was
no,
a-
that band was I don't know, a month, 2 months.
Hmm.
Yeah, just a little thing.
Yeah.
We were just starting off. We were like, let's do the band thing. Let's be
Were you
famous. Let's
here
go
in
on the road.
Rochester, or were you? Did you grow up here?
Yeah, I grew up here, right down the street from here, actually, from this house. Went to Hilton.
So then that band broke up, and you guys can see it on the VH1 Behind the Music, how that all happened. But then after that, so was it like a big span of time in between that, or were you like, after that experience, yes, this is what I want to do a lot more of? And
So none of those were original. Those were all covers that we were doing. I didn't start writing music until my freshman year of college, where I wrote, the first song that I ever wrote, and I still play that song to this day. But that was until 2012. So
what was that span of time you said from like?
it was about
So you said 7th grade
Yeah, it was
up
about-
until college?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was about 5-6
What
years.
was that? What's that song about, if you don't mind me asking?
So I mean, it kind of goes along with the vibe of most of my songs nowadays, which is just positivity. It's called Sir Lion, and it's pretty much just about being positive life, living strong. And
Is that what you're going to play today or not?
no,
Okay.
I mean, I still play that song, and I love that song. It was the first song I ever wrote, and I'm glad that I still love it.
Yeah.
But no, I'll be playing a different song that we wrote. So, I mean, all the songs that I wrote in that band from 2013 on the 2015 album, we don't play any of those, like me and Connor. Connor Kalupski is the person that I write with, and he was in that band from 2013. We had all split apart, went our own separate ways, had life kind of get in the way. And then last year, Connor came back to town, and the timing was just right, so we just picked back up and started writing again. So these are all the songs that we have now that we're going to be recording and performing as this project progresses are all new. So besides that one, the first song that I ever wrote, we'll be playing that one too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So do you feel, so here's a feeling I have sometimes. I almost feel like my earlier writing, even though from a technical standpoint, maybe it wasn't, like I didn't know as much, or it wasn't as dynamic necessarily as if I were to go back and re-edit it almost. I could probably make the songs more complex and more interesting than they were. But I almost feel like sometimes I miss the days of not knowing anything about
The
songwriting,
simplicity of it,
because
yeah.
I would write things that are like are unexpected, so to speak, without knowing that it's unexpected, because I didn't know what I was doing. Do you feel like some of the older material, maybe you'd like to dredge back up and rework
Absolutely,
a little
yeah.
bit?
Yep, I'm right there with you. I mean, we talk about that all the time because we had a bunch of songs that we played. We could fill a 3-hour set.
Yeah.
And I think about it all the time, and I'll like rehash it. I'll just go back and play it randomly and been like, could have done this differently.
Yeah.
It would have sounded much better. But then, my taste back then compared to my taste now changed.
Right.
So we were feeling those songs just the way they were back then. Now that our tastes are a little bit differently, like I didn't care about jazz at all back then. I'm really big into jazz now. And the music that we've been writing is pretty heavily influenced with jazz.
Yeah. What would you call your style? I hate that question too. Like, what does your music sound like if you're going to describe?
Yeah. I've always hated trying to put a label on it because it's tough.
Yeah.
It's not that I hate like labeling stuff, but it's tough to like without, selling yourself short.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Like if you were to combine 3 bands that you think it's kind of similar to, or would if someone was to listen to it, it'd be like, okay, I could see those influences in it. What would be like 3 bands you'd say?
Yeah, that's hard to do. Because
So for me, I'd say like for our material,
Mhm.
this is what I've been saying recently. It's like a combination of because I grew up in the 80s in Queens. So it's got hip hop influence. It's very rhythmic. It's got that like drum and bass behind it. But I also, like I said, I grew up as a teenager in the 90s. So it has some Nirvana, Pearl Jam, almost Dave Matthews Band influence in there. And then I tend to put poetry in my stuff too. So I usually kind of like a blend of that, like Dave Matthews Band with hip hop, but with a little more like Pearl Jam, Nirvana.
So I mean,
under it, like a darker.
You're similar to me
Dave
in
Matthews
that sense because Dave Matthews Band was a huge influence on my life, and that first band, like when we were writing, we were all big Dave Matthews Band fans, and like we went to as many shows as that we possibly could. Like that was a huge influence on my life. Jack Johnson was another huge influence on my life, and a lot of classic rock.
Yeah, that was me too because my dad,
like hip hop as well. I had 3 older brothers. They showed me the best hip hop. Like Naughty by Nature, Nas, Wu-Tang, Big
that.
L, like
right.
all the good stuff.
Yeah. So I grew up in the 80s. There was like the Fat. You probably don't know the Fat Boys.
Yeah.
Like all those old. I used to have a T-shirt, the Fat Boys T-shirt. I love that T-shirt. And I was a chubby kid too, so I'd wear the Fat Boys like proudly. Like I'm a fat boy too. But like what is it, the Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff too back in the day. I don't know what happened to Will Smith, but things change over time. But he was he might come up and smack me. It'd be funny if he just walked in. What are you talking about? Smacks me right in the face.
Yeah, that'd be surprising.
So what's your plan for this band? Do you feel like you want to do more like a bunch of live shows? Is it more you want to do recording? Or
that's really the goal because we enjoy playing live. We enjoy playing originals live. And that's the goal right now. We have the material now to play an hour set. We could push it. We could add some covers and do some longer sets, but the goal is to just play as many shows as we can.
Do you want to tour? Do you feel like you want to do that?
I think every musician thinks about that. And so I got a wife and a daughter, baby daughter, work full time in school. So the music hasn't really been a priority at this point. If the opportunity came up to tour, I would do it. I've talked to my wife before. She says, okay.
Exactly. She just has to be on the roof watching as you're going. But I hear you.
But yeah, play some shows just because we enjoy it. We'll record when we're ready. We want to make sure that all the songs are the way that we want them to be before we record. There's no rush. We're not in any rush.
So let me ask you about that. So the songs being ready. So when you write a song, and we had, as a matter of fact, when is Kai's episode coming out? Is it coming out this Monday, right? So tomorrow. But by the time whoever's watching this, it would have been last Monday. Kai is a comedian, and I was talking with her about like the process. And comedians, a lot of times they have to work out their material on stage, to like gauge the reaction because they can think it's funny.
That's a good point.
But then you get up and you deliver it and no one laughs. If it's quiet in the room, you're like, I got to change that or whatever, or dump it. Let's dump the whole thing. Dump it. Scrap it. That's right. But do you feel like when you write and then you go out and you perform, have you ever like changed a song based on the reaction?
I don't think so. I totally get it with comedy. With music, I haven't noticed anything from a reaction that caused me to want to change something. But there's still changes that need to be made. Once you play them live, then you get experience playing them live with dynamics and just the groove of the band and all that. Play those songs enough times in that environment. You'll see the changes that need to be made to match how you want the song to be.
And I know you said you haven't recorded anything with this particular band,
Yeah.
The group of people you're playing with now. I've noticed this when I and I've noticed this with other bands, like big bands that go out and you see them perform a song that's like one of their classic songs, but they don't play it. Like there's changes that they've made.
Dave Matthews Band, perfect example.
Yeah,
like their 90s shows,
yeah,
they're wildly different from the studio recordings.
yeah, and I think that the song like grows as you play it live.
Yeah.
You get these like little, little quirks to the song. And sometimes I look back, I'll write a song, we'll play it for a while, I'll record it, I'll have the recorded version that I like a lot. But then as we play it live, I start making changes, little tweaks to where things are, what a melody, where things go up or down or whatever. And then I kind of wish I could go back and re-record it after the song's kind of matured a little bit.
And I think that, and in this situation, are you writing stuff kind of in haste? You're like writing songs, then you're going and performing them. You know what I mean?
No, there's usually a bit of time where I'm fleshing them out a little bit and playing them. Okay, what does this feel like? Where would the melody go? But the more it becomes just, okay, that's the song and the parts are all worked out. All that. There's still tweaks that end up happening that makes it like a mature version of it. That sometimes I wish I could go back and change some stuff. After it's matured in that live setting. When you write, do you write, you're saying like in haste, is the question you asked. Like, do you feel like when you write, what's your process, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
I think I'm in a good position now is because I'm not about that. I don't like writing in haste. I don't want to write a song and then that's it. It's done. That's the song. Songs, I don't care who you are as a songwriter, your songs are going to progress as time goes on. They're going to evolve. And that I'm using this time that I have being patient because all of the songs that we've written, I've changed after a few months, a little bit here and there. So, and I like them better now. And it's because I gave them time to mature, time to progress.
I do feel sometimes, so there's this phrase that I kind of live by sometimes because I can procrastinate forever.
Oh, for sure.
On something and sit on it. I want it to be perfect, blah, blah, blah. And there is something to be said for something being done rather than perfect too, right? Because you can sit forever.
Connor says to me all the time.
Yeah. So you got to kind of sometimes put it out almost before it's completely ready, so that at some point it is a finished thing.
Yeah.
It's out.
Which is important.
Thing, right?
It is important.
Because otherwise you can sit on it forever and perfect every little part of it.
Very true.
And then maybe you'll have a masterpiece of a song, but you'll be 95 years old, and you won't be able to even do it anymore.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said for that. But it's interesting that the maturity of a song over time and how that happens. I talk a lot about like the open mic experience, and I do them all the time. And some musicians I feel like think I'm kind of crazy for doing that, like constantly doing open mics, but
I respect the hell out of it.
There's a few things I like about it. One, it helps me see what the reaction to new music I'm writing is, especially if it's a new song I just wrote, and usually I wrote it that morning and then there's an open mic and I'll go play it there. Let's see what people feel about it and how I perform it in front of people. Maybe there's some nuance that comes out because there are people out there. But then secondly, I really like watching because at open mics, there's always young, new musicians that sometimes it's their first time performing ever. So they've been sitting in their apartment or their bedroom or whatever it is, coming up with this material. And I'm guessing, because this is the way I feel, like I imagine things in my head. I imagine myself like on stage and there's huge crowd, cheering for me, that sort of thing. So I imagine these young musicians, the first time they're playing, they've been sitting in their room or their apartment, like imagining I'm going to get on stage at this open mic and everyone's going to be getting up, standing applause and all that kind of thing. And a lot of times, obviously, that doesn't happen, right? And they're super nervous when they get up there and they're shaking, faces all red, and they're like nervous as hell to get up there. But then they start doing that thing that they've been doing alone in their bedroom or in their apartment. And I don't know why it's such a it's like looking at, it's beautiful to me to see the vulnerability of someone like that, having the courage that even though they're scared to do it, they're doing it anyway, and putting these things that are inside of them, whether in their heart or their head or whatever, out and letting people judge it.
Yeah.
Because that's a scary fucking thing to do.
I love seeing that too. I totally agree.
Especially if it's like a love song you wrote about, like someone you've actually had a relationship.
Like, this is the only song that I've ever written, and it means the world to me.
Yeah.
And they play it.
Yeah.
And you could tell they care and they're passionate about it. I love that.
It's like something I really enjoy watching, and then talking to those people after, like saying that was fucking great.
Yeah.
Like keep doing it.
Shit.
Yeah, keep doing it. Like I know you were nervous and it wasn't your best performance of it, and it, you were shaking and you missed a chord and you had to, oh, I'm sorry, let me start over or whatever.
Some people have never performed in front of a group of other people in their lives.
You've got to it's a muscle that gets built. Yeah. Stage fright and all that stuff can get over, but you got to keep exposing yourself to it.
You can't stop. Yeah.
Do you still get stage fright at all when you get up on?
I when we were playing with that band back in 2013, I may have had a little bit of stage fright in the beginning, but I had this mentality of, and I have this mentality about just life in general. I just tell myself it doesn't matter.
Right.
And then I'm fine with whatever happens. So if I bomb, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If I do good, it doesn't matter. And in my head, that's a coping mechanism. So I can just get up in front of everyone and play whatever, and not care.
But that's come with time. Right?
It's come with time.
Doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing. It's so nerve-wracking to get up on stage, and that people have issues with that with just public speaking and stuff.
Yeah.
That people, I was actually joking, speaking of my daughter Maya today. I was joking with her because she played something and then she missed a chord, whatever. It's just like three of us down here. She's playing to us, and I'm like, boo, boo, like booing her in her face, like joking around, But I'm like, just get used to that. No one's gonna do that if you go out and play. No one's gonna be like, boo, you suck, or maybe the drunk lady at the party or whatever. Yeah. But who cares about her opinion? You know what I mean? But get her used to you kind of got to get used to bombing and that feeling of it didn't work. Yeah. So what can I do to maybe tweak it?
And there's also the mentality that you have to have is that some of the mistakes you make, nobody notices.
Right. That's true too. Just keep going
too.
That's a skill that you gotta learn too. Don't stop because no one noticed, or maybe they did, but they'll overlook it if you just keep going.
Oh yeah.
With it.
It happens all the time. Even professionals.
Yeah, it's true. Well, another thing so let me get your opinion on this. This is going to be a divisive topic amongst musicians, and especially people that sing. And you want a little more cognac, or you're good for now?
Sure. Yeah.
So, do you ever put lyrics in front of you while you perform?
No.
No. So you do do you have a strong opinion on whether or not that's...
I've seen people have opinions about that.
Yeah.
And I don't get
Yeah.
it. What do you care? What's the big deal? Does it take away from the showmanship? I don't understand.
We went to the Grammys recently, a couple of weeks ago, but I saw, who was it? I forget what the performance was we just watched. It was Brandy Carlisle. That Insecurities, My Insecurities, whatever that song is. Yeah. But it was a performance before the Grammys. But they have those it looks like a monitor wedge, but it's not a monitor wedge. It's a screen on it, and it's got lyrics on it, right? And you see those late night talk shows too, where they have musical performances, and they've all got teleprompters there. They've all got their lyrics, and it's not necessarily cheating. And people think, oh well, they're just performing. But they have a teleprompter with the lyrics right there in front of them. So it looks like they're not looking at anything, but they are looking at the lyrics just in case. Because you have moments of you're in the midst of music, you forget a lyric,
I've done it multiple times.
And I've seen a lot of musicians judge other musicians for having that in front of you, or having some sort of lyric or chords in front of you just in case, but there are some of us that have children too. and your memory tends to go once you lose sleep for 3 or 4
Dude,
years in a
totally.
row. And so and I've seen major artists. Elton John has a custom built piano with a cutout on the top that has an iPad or some sort of screen in there with his lyrics in there. Elton fucking John, okay, people? All you
Really?
musicians that are going to judge people with iPads in front of them just because they can't afford to have a custom piano made with it built in so it doesn't look like he's looking at his lyrics. He's looking at the lyrics.
That's
so is
great.
Brandy Carlisle. She's got on stage. I've seen Aerosmith. Do you think Steven Tyler doesn't have his lyrics right there in front of him just in case he forgets something? Yeah, he's also a middle-aged woman somehow too. Yeah, I'd hit it too.
I'd probably.
Yeah, I mean, it is Steven Tyler.
Just to say I did.
But I saw some post recently about it, and I was like, if you're gonna judge, you're gonna judge another musician.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
It
think
seems
it's bullshit.
it seems like when I play shows, I want to deliver the best performance of what I'm doing.
That's it. That's the most important
to
thing.
the audience. And I try, and I do keep my lyrics up there. I'll keep chords, especially if I'm playing a 3-hour set. 3 hours worth of material is a lot of material to have memorized.
Especially if there's new stuff in there.
Yeah, you're playing new songs, you're playing new covers, you're doing this or that. To have that there, and it's not necessarily as like a crutch, because that can be boring. You're watching someone just literally read off an iPad. Don't do that.
Right.
But if you have it there as like a safe, okay, I forgot the start to
if you're coming out of the bridge and you're like, oh shit, I don't remember the start of this next verse.
Right.
You just glance right down and you're like, all right, I'm good. The show can go on.
You can easily lose the whole rest of the song
the entire rest of the song. Yeah. I know.
And so I'm gonna share this. I have something on stage that I have kind of cheat notes just in case. And so if anyone else does that, don't feel ashamed by it. Don't use it as a crutch. Don't read off your iPad to the audience. But it's okay to have that sort of thing. No one. Well, people are judging you, but I'm not judging you. Professional musicians that are out are not judging you, so feel free to do that. So, but I do want to get into the songwriting process because we are getting a little low on time. How do you typically approach a song? Like, is it something that? Because I know you said you take your time once it's kind of semi-written to flesh it out.
Yeah.
But is it like an experience that happens to you and you're like, I have to write a song about this, and so I sit down and write it? Is it something that it just kind of...
No, to that last part. I've never really been like that. Some of the songs that I used to write were based off like real-time experiences. Like something would happen to me and I'd want to write some lyrics about it. But now I write a riff and I'll play that riff over and over and over again. And I want to match the lyrics to the vibe of the song. And also the rhythm of the song. So the phrasing of the lyrics. So I'll write the riff first, try and do the entire song, riff, bridge, chorus, whatever makes up the song. And then I'll do the phrasing. So I'll, hum.
Do you make up fake words too?
Oh yeah.
I've learned that everyone does that. I used to be like, am I the only one that does that? Just like mumbles words over stuff for a while. I'll even record it. I'll record it with the mumbles. Not only that, I'll tell another secret here that I surprised a studio engineer once, and I said this to him. I was like, sometimes I'll record something on my computer and I'll turn on auto-tune, like hard auto-tune on it, and I'll just try to hit stuff and have it move it to the note that's in the key. Stuff that maybe I wouldn't necessarily think of doing vocally on the melody. It'll force it to that. And then I'll go out and play that live because it's like, oh, I didn't think to go there with it.
So that's interesting because I'll do that with a capo.
Huh.
You know what I mean? I'll change the key. Like the songs that we have written and down and like, that's the key that we're playing it in.
Yeah.
I'll just throw a capo on and change the key by like 3 half steps and then
then
sing it normally and be like, it'll do an entirely different melody.
Yeah.
It's so fun to do. But if it's a solidified song, you don't want to be completely changing everything.
So you approach songwriting kind of as like guitar first.
Yeah, guitar, piano first, and then phrasing.
Have you written on piano too? You've written songs on piano?
For this project, I only have one piano song. The rest are guitar.
How do you approach So do you think of yourself as like a singer? Are you a vocalist? Like, what do you think of your?
I guess so. I would say probably mainly singing, but the instrumentation is. I don't want to just be. I want an instrument in my hand.
Yeah. So, all right, we are. I'm getting yelled at about time. So, we're gonna get to one of your songs here, but I think I want to have you back because we've just gotten into the weeds of it. I think we need to make these 2-hour episodes. I'm sorry, but I know, and we might move the recording date to a different day too of the week because this is always right after band practice, and I've been like doing the music thing for 3 hours, and then I'm doing this, and then everyone's tired. But let's do this. Let's have you talk about your, where people can find you again. And I know that's, and I have a reason for you saying that. We'll cut to it. So where can people find you right now?
So
Adam,
you'll be able to find me once I create something and send it to Pat to possibly post on this video.
That's right. Yeah.
When it's posted.
So let's cut back to me here. So by the end of the year, he'll have a full fleshed out album and a bunch of stuff on streaming services and whatever. So by the end of the year, you'll be able to find Adam Lynch and his band fully recorded and in distribution worldwide, and playing shows around the New York area and beyond potentially. And what is the song you're going to perform? What's that? What do you say? Oh yeah. Like and subscribe and whatever. I don't know if that works. Do you? Comment,
it does.
Comment below. I mean, if you're watching up until this point in the video and you haven't hit subscribe to the YouTube channel, why have you not done that? I'm very disappointed.
They needed a reminder, and you're doing that now.
Yeah, your mom is very disappointed in you. Your grandma, aunt,
mm-hmm.
aunt, soda, pop, your childhood baby, very disappointed.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Your priest, I don't know. Your therapist, very disappointed in you for not subscribing. No, but do that again. Thank you to Seed and Stone. I know we're drinking cognac here, but I'm going to also drink some cider after this. What's the name of the song you're going to perform for us, Adam? If you could.
So it's called "Nick of Time."
Nick of Time. What? Well, let's talk about what it's about. Maybe after you perform it.
Sure.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Short. We'll do a little short one after that. And so here we go. Adam Lynch. Nick of Time.
Yeah.
All right, maybe move your mic there in between, and I'll pass this. And
how's it working? I don't want this to be changing, no, because we spent all of this time rearranging, so don't back out of all these arrangements. We knocked it out, bigger this than we had made it. I don't want nothing more, no. All of these morning doves won't leave my porch. I want to take this whole thing off, the whole thing off, so we can leave the door wide open. And I promise you that I won't be leaving, at least until I leave everything broken. Catch you on the flip side. My lip tried to split right down the side. Got out in just the nick of time. Got out in just the nick of time. I think that we got out right just at the nick of time. Cashed a check just to save my neck, and then we don't ask the reasons why. Got out in just the nick of time. Got out in just the nick of time. Got out in just the nick of time. Got out in just the nick of time.
Woo! Adam Lynch, everybody. Adam Lynch. I love those jazz chords. What? Show me the chords real quick on here. Can we get a close up somehow on the chords? Oof. What is that chord you're doing there?
So this is just E major in second position.
But you're in like a...
Yeah, so, I mean, you got E major
real
here.
nice, though.
You got E major. You got E major here.
Yeah, but that sounds real.
Oh, I know.
I
It's
like
my
that.
favorite way
Yeah.
to play it. Yeah.
What are you...
I mean, it's... Have you ever heard of the cage system?
Yeah,
So it's if you look up the cage system, you could
like
figure some stuff.
transpose it down the neck
yeah,
and all that
cage
stuff.
system is great.
Here, show them that crazy chord way of playing an E major there.
So this is like the C shape in the cage system for E major.
Can you play the whole way through so people? Because I know there's guitar players that watch this, so maybe just play the riff once
Sure.
through.
It's just, I'm just going to,
Yeah.
so they can see.
Kind of like a C sharp
Yeah,
something.
I love those chords
I
too.
do too. That was the B13.
You said a B13, and you're doing hammer-ons with the middle two, huh?
Yeah.
There you go, everybody. The guitar stylings of Mr. Adam Lynch. Adam, I just want to say thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. That's
So
fun.
let's do this. Can you make me a promise?
Sure can.
You don't ever say sure can before I tell you what the promise is that I'm going to ask you to make. Rule number one in the music business: never say I promise. No, but I do want to have you back on the show because I feel like you're going to put down some of this stuff and you're going to want to
I would love
promote
to
it.
come back. Yeah.
And I think that from what people have seen here, you're an amazingly talented musician and songwriter.
Thank you.
And I'm very interested in diving a little deeper, especially as you get into the recording process
Yeah.
now with this stuff and your partner there that you're making music with.
Yep.
Maybe both of you guys can come on the show and whoever else is in the band, if you're adding in individuals, to talk about that, that project when you have stuff released or whatever.
I would love to. Yeah.
And help promote it, and I hope everyone goes out and searches Adam Lynch, and takes a look at what is out there. Any criminal records or anything they should be aware of that they're searching for. Oh,
Shouldn't find
we'll leave
anything
that
now.
up to Google. Yeah, that's all cleared up now. He did his community service for it. So. Adam,
Bet. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you being on the show, man. And for real, let me know when everything's recorded
Yeah.
and you're ready to drop some stuff and you're going to be playing some shows. Do you have a show coming up or anything that you want to kind of promote at the moment?
That's all on the books. That's something that's something that we're actively working on. So it's in the near future. It's within the next few months.
Beautiful.
There's going to be some
Yep.
traction.
Get patience.
Yeah.
Because the product that'll come out, I'm sure will be.
I'm really excited. I am.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Adam, thank you, man. Thank you again, everyone, for watching, for listening. I know I was a little bit behind on the audio podcast. Some things got delayed or whatever, so it's out now. Everything is up to date. We're ready to go. I hope you enjoyed the comedian shows that we've done, and if you want to see more of those too, let me know. If you want to see less of those, let me know. If you want me to bring anyone else, producers or whatever, and I'm gonna put this shout out one more time. Rick Beato is here in Fairport. Do you know Rick Beato?
Yeah.
So he's got a big YouTube channel, whatever, and he's interviewing musicians. He's doing the same kind of similar thing that we're doing here. I'd like to have you on the show. I know I was kind of giving you shit last time about us being competitors or whatever, but I'd love to have you on the show. And if you want to have me on the show, I'd be glad to be on there too. But I'd love to have you on the show to talk about your podcast and your video channel and how that came about and all that stuff. I know he had like a record label and all these things that came to fruition and then ended up on this doing this podcast thing that was very successful. So I'd like to see his like storyline through there. So if you happen upon it or you know Rick Beato or you want to send him a message or something, let him know that I'm interested in speaking with him and being in Rochester here. I think.
Wait,
I
he's
think
in
it makes sense.
Rochester?
Yeah, he's at a Fairport, I think. Yeah, you didn't know that, Rick Beato? Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if I think he lives
Really?
near
No, I didn't know
Fairport
that. Okay.
or he grew up there. I don't know if he's still here. I don't know where his studio is or whatever, but. Yeah, we're gonna flash
Do you have
his
a social?
social security number and address right here. If you can just superimpose that, editors, thank you very much, and just send him letters and whatever else, flowers, chocolates, and the like. No, but I would like to see how his progression into that kind of happened because he's doing it pretty well there.
Yeah.
But again. I talk too much. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you to everyone that listens. Thank you to everyone that watches. Thank you to everyone that comments. Thank you to all the songwriters and everyone I've gotten a chance to talk to because it's really kind of a selfish reason why I do this. I really enjoy talking with
But you're doing a good. You're doing a good thing.
Songwriters and musicians.
And we all respect you for it.
And stuff. Well, I appreciate that. But again, it's a selfish reason.
Sure,
I really like
it's
talking
fine.
and delving into the mind of people and getting to listen to music. Good music as at my house here. So, all right. I'm being told to shut the hell up. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Adam, thank you, man.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Bye, guys. Until the next one.